To hit the golf ball solid and with some distance, we want to create forward shaft lean. Okay, so what is forward shaft lean? And what that is when I get to the impact, I want to see the hands and the handle ahead of the club. Hey everyone, in this video we're going to go over how to get more forward shaft lean at impact. I'm going to talk about what forward shaft lean is and how it improves your impact, and I'm going to give you 3 efficient drills that'll have you hitting it more solid than ever. But before we get to that, I've really enjoyed bringing this free content to you, and our YouTube community, it's growing, and that's very exciting. And I want it to continue to grow, and you can help me to do that. And the way you can do that is by liking this video when it's over, subscribing to my YouTube channel, which the easiest way to do that is that little red square in the corner of this video. Just click on it, and all it does is alert you when I have new videos available for you to watch. And then, as always, comment. Ask any questions you might have. Tell me what future videos you'd like to see. Okay, so when we talk about forward shaft lean, we're talking more about hitting the golf ball off the ground. And I have other videos that talk about the geometry of a driver and the geometry of everything else, which is when the ball's on the ground or very low on a tee, and you can search those out. But we're focusing right now on everything else. The ball's on the ground, it's low on a tee, and to hit the golf ball solid and with some distance, we want to create forward shaft lean. Okay, so what is forward shaft lean? And what that is when I get to the impact, I want to see the hands and the handle ahead of the club. And there's another term that you might be familiar with, and it's called a flat lead wrist. So my lead wrist as a lefty is my right wrist, and as it's flat, that creates forward shaft lean. What happens when I don't have forward shaft lean, Mark? And what I see a lot is I see flipping and I see scooping. So as this lead wrist breaks down, I see the handle get behind the club head at impact, and that'll cause me to hit behind it. It'll cause thin. It is really an undesirable impact position. So let's go over one more time what forward shaft lean looks like, and it's definitely desirable, again, when I'm hitting the ball off the ground or when the ball is very low on the tee. So you can see as I come into impact, this right wrist is nice and flat, and I'm leading. And all this helps me do is get the bottom of the golf swing in front of the golf ball, which again, from other videos that you've watched of mine, we know that that's proper. The divot should be in front of the golf ball. I don't want it behind the golf ball. Now, there's some numbers that kind of go into this, and I'm going to get a little golf nerdy and a little scientific here for a minute, but through using technology such as TrackMan that I use at my golf school, what we find with a good club player, so somebody who's a single digit, 10, 12, single digit, what we see is they reduce the loft of the club at impact by 10 degrees. So there's a measurement, it's called dynamic loft. That's how much loft am I showing at impact. There's also static loft. How much loft does this 8-iron have when it's just resting on the ground? So the static loft, the resting, and it's different from manufacturer to manufacturer, but let's just say mine is 38 degrees. So I'm 38 at address, but by the time I get to impact, I want to be less 10, which would be 28 degrees. So again, using my wrist angles correctly is going to be a big part of that. Another big variable or element that helps me to reduce that loft by 10 degrees is also hitting down on the golf ball, because as I hit down on the golf ball, guess where I'm pointing the loft? Pointing the loft into the ground, so I'm reducing loft. So between using my wrist angles the correct way, between the effort of hitting down on the golf ball, I'm going to be able to reduce that loft. And again, as a general rule or number, we're going to see less 10. When you see players with more speed, it'll become a little bit more than that. But that's just a good general rule and gives you a bit of an idea. So I think we now understand forward shaft lean and we understand why it's desirable. Now let's get into some ways that I can get more forward shaft lean. You know I'm somebody, I put it on camera, I see a chicken wing, I see a bit of a flip. How can I get rid of that? And I've got 3 different ways I'm going to show you. And the first way is more of a thought or a feeling, and then I'll give you some physical drills that you can do after that. So the first thought or feeling I use a lot at my golf school. Let's go back to that impact position. Okay, so I see I've got forward shaft lean, my right wrist is flat. Well then, what's my trail wrist doing? Or my left wrist? For most people, that's going to be your dominant hand. So most right-handed golfers play right-handed and most left-handed golfers play left-handed. I'm actually an exception. I'm a right-handed and everything else, but play golf left-handed. So this actually is not my strong or dominant hand. But I like to use the dominant hand when I can. I feel like people have more control of that. So if I look at that, we can see that it's cupped. So a great communicator that I use for people who are having a hard time creating forward shaft lean, or a good starting point, the least invasive place to start, is I want them to feel like they're hitting the golf ball with the heel pad of their left hand. So the heel pad would be the top part of my left hand here, and I'm just going to feel like I'm hitting the golf ball with that. Now, if you've seen my video about the trail hand and showing the phone, remember we show the phone to the camera here, and when we get down to impact, I'm showing the phone to the ground. So my right hand is more on top, my left hand is more on top of the club, and that heel pad, I'm hitting the golf ball with the heel pad of that trail hand. So let's give that a try. Let's see how we do, if I can create a little more forward shaft lean by doing that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of rehearse it into impact, just feeling like I'm going to smack the back of that golf ball with the heel pad of my left hand. So now that I've got a feeling for that, I might rehearse it once or twice with the club, kind of get the same feeling. And then once I've got that feeling, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit one. Yeah, so that was good. That felt very solid. My divot was in front of the golf ball. Definitely felt like I had some good forward shaft lean there at impact. Okay, so you're on the range and you say, all right, I try the heel pad of my hand. I'm gonna keep that cup in my left wrist, my trail wrist. But you know what? That doesn't really work. I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere with that. So next thing I want you to do is grab an alignment stick if you have one. If you don't have one, you could take another club and do this. But all you're gonna do is you're going to, see how I just put this alignment stick down the back of the shaft, and then I got my golf grip, and I'm just going to create like a 3/4 swing, and then I'm going to bring it down to impact. Well, guess what? If I don't create forward shaft lean, look at what happens. I'm hitting my body. Now, just do not hit golf balls this way, please. This is really, again, just to create a feel, and then I'll give you something that you can do actually hitting golf balls. The last fix, we'll talk about that. But this would be great, again, to just create some feel. And as I'm doing this, I can feel that cup in my left wrist. I can feel the heel pad of my hand smacking the back of the golf ball. So this is a great way to just create some feels of some more forward shaft lean. So again, I'm going to grab another ball. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm just going to get my alignment stick. I'm going to put it on the back of the shaft, get my grip, and I'm just going to make some practice swings, making sure I don't hit myself in the side, and creating a good feel for proper impact alignments. And that's all we're talking about here. We're talking about lining the golf club up as a world-class player. So I've got a good feel for that. My alignment stick helped a lot. So let's go ahead and hit one. So again, in an effort to change, I'm going to make a few rehearsal swings that feel the same way that it did when I had that alignment stick on my club. And I got a good feel for it, so let's go ahead and give it a shot here. All right, so actually higher ball flight. and much more solid. So this is helping. I'm progressing as we go through this lesson, which is wonderful, and I know you will too. All right, so we've worked on hitting it with the heel pad of the trail hand, and again, that really didn't move the needle for us. Hey, I grabbed the alignment stick, I rehearsed with that. Yeah, it's not really working for me. What is the next thing I can do to get more forward shaft lean at impact? And it's actually quite simple. What we can do, if you have ever punched a shot from under some trees, so you're under some trees, you got to punch it out 40 yards, what do? You take it back short and you just kind of de-loft the club. So a couple things we can do is we can just make some rehearsal swings where I'm actually making this 8-iron look more like a 4-iron. So I've got so much forward shaft lean, when I look at the face of the club, it's actually standing straight up and down, looks much more like a 4-iron. So I can make a couple practice swings doing that, reducing the loft, which is a punch shot, what we do for a punch shot. But the last drill I'm going to give you is actually a punch shot. So through hitting some punch shots, I can learn to create some forward shaft lean. So let's punch one, and I'll kind of show you what I mean by that. And then you're going to say, okay, Mark, I get great forward shaft lean when I'm punching the golf ball, but I'm not going to play golf the rest of my life just punching it 40 yards around the golf course. So of course I'm going to show you how to go ahead and put it into a full swing. All right, so from face on one more time, just working on 3/4 backswing, working on reducing the loft, getting that 8-iron to look like a 4-iron. So you can see I have a ton of forward shaft lean. I could work on this, you could film me, you're never going to see this much, but we know we need to exaggerate to create a change in golf. So I've got that feel, and I'm going to go ahead and punch. And so when I punch, when I finish, you can see how the club head finishes under my hands. That's a really important thing to maintain the integrity of that face. So I don't want you going to a full finish. It's just like you're punching out from under trees. 3/4 back, kind of halfway through. Again, I can apply the heel pad of my left hand or my trail hand. I can start to apply some of what I did with the alignment stick. All right, so let's go ahead and punch one here. Again, I'm not going far. This might go 70, 80, 60 yards. I mean, I don't even know. But we're going to go 3/4 and then punch. Great. So felt really solid. Brought the ball flight down as it should because I'm reducing the loft. It didn't look like an 8-iron now. It looked more like a, let's call it a 6-iron or a 5-iron. So I'm reducing the loft. The ball came out lower, but it felt really great. So it's like, okay, I've punched, I've stood on the range for a week. I've punched hundreds of golf balls. I got a feel for this. Now, how do I incorporate this into a golf swing? And it's really quite simple. We're going to take a full backswing now. You're going to create those punch alignments, and by the time you get here in your golf swing, guess what? The ball's already about 40 yards down range. So the rest of your golf swing is just going to be exhaling and relaxing and letting that club go right over your lead shoulder. So let's see if we can put that into a swing. All right, so I'm going to the top of my backswing, I'm creating those punch alignments, and then I'm going right through to my finish. And let's give it a try. Yeah, that was really cool. Each shot through this lesson has gotten more solid and better. And again, I know if you do these things, if you work yourself through that progression I just worked through, your ball striking is going to improve too. So now you have a great understanding of forward shaft lean in golf, why it's desirable, and how it will improve your impact. And I gave you 3 great drills to help you improve or get more forward shaft lean at impact. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I have 2 more here right now that I promise will continue to help you improve your game. And remember, please like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and comment.